Hello and welcome to the first module of our course, How to Set Powerful Goals. Goal setting is a powerful process for thinking about your ideal future and for motivating yourself to turn your vision of this future into reality. I decided to start with the process of setting goals because they are in direct relation with your concentration ability. If you don't have a strong motivation, a strong goals, a strong why, then your concentration level will never increase on the medium and long term. Of course, there are some tricks that will help you increase your concentration, but only on the short term. Again, if you don't have that strong motivation and clear, precise goals, your focus will never increase. Inside this module, I will help you to develop a clear sense of direction through the strategic planning process. How to define your goal, how to define the objectives, how to set the strategies, how to establish your priorities, and how to define your activities related to that goal. Once you have figured out what you really want to do, you need a strategy for accomplishing it. Your goals are not going to get you anywhere if you don't actually do something about them. And I'm going to help you with that. We are going to cover everything related to how to organize your goals. And the last point covered is the importance of setting long-term goals. The key to a successful long-term goals is for you to identify the core competencies you will require and then begin immediately to develop or to acquire those core competencies. And I'm going to help you with that in this module. So, let's start. Planning and setting goals. Many people work hard, but they don't seem to get anywhere worthwhile. A key reason that they feel this way is that they haven't spent enough time thinking about what they want from their lives and haven't set themselves any goals. After all, would you set out on a major journey with no real idea of your destination? Probably not. Goal setting is a powerful process for thinking about your ideal future and for motivating yourself to turn your vision of this future into reality. From top-level athletes, successful business people, and achievers in all fields, they all set goals. Setting goals gives you long-term vision and short-term motivation. It focuses your acquisition of knowledge and helps you to organize your time and your resources so that you can make the very most of your life. Most importantly, setting clear and powerful goals increases your focus, your ability to concentrate. If you don't already set goals, do so starting right now. As you make this technique a part of your life, you will find your career accelerating and you will wonder how you did without it. Now, I'm going to present you a strategic planning process to develop a clear sense of direction. For that, we are going to talk about how to set your goals, how to define your objectives, how to set your strategies, how to establish your priorities, and how to define your activities. These are the components of a strategic planning process. Your goals, your objectives, your strategies, your priorities, and your activities. How to set goals? A goal is a specific place where you want to end up at the end of a specific period of time. For example, your goal could be a certain volume of sales or a certain level of profitability at the end of a quarter or at the end of a year. You need to set goals in three major areas of your life: family, work, and personal goals. These are the reasons why you get up in the morning, why you work hard and upgrade your skills, why you worry about money and sometimes feel frustrated by the demands on your time. Objectives are the sub-goals that you will have to accomplish in order to achieve your long-term goal. if your one-year goal is a certain level of profitability or a certain number of books to read, your objectives could be in the areas of sales distribution, if you target profitability, or the number of books you need to read each month. Achieving these objectives, the goals are achieved as well. Now, what is a strategy? Your strategy is the method that you are going to use to accomplish the objective on the way to your goal. For example, with regard to sales, your strategy could be to build an internal sales force, or your strategy could be improving marketing. With regard to reading a certain number of books in a year, your strategy could be to set a specific period of time, 5 days per week, and dedicate this time only to reading. By thinking through the key questions and concepts of strategy, you very quickly find yourself doing more and more of the most important tasks that can move you toward your key goals. At the same time, you do fewer and fewer of those things that are not particularly helpful. Now, throughout the strategic planning process, you must know what are the things that you will have to do first and what are the things that you will have to do second. Which items are more important and which items are less important. You always have to set priorities. Priorities enable you to choose what you do first, what you do second, and what not to do at all. It enables you to organize every aspect of your life so that you can get the greatest joy, happiness, and satisfaction out of everything you do. There are 3 key questions that you can ask yourself continually to keep your personal life in balance. What is really important to me? Whenever you find yourself with too much to do and too little time, stop and ask yourself, what is it that is really important for me to do in this situation? Then make sure that what you are doing is the answer to that question. The second question is, what are my highest value activities? In your personal life, this means, what are the things that I do that give me the greatest pleasure and satisfaction? Of all the things that I could be doing at any one time, what are the things that I could do to add the greatest value to my life? The third question for you to ask over and over again is this one. What is the most valuable use of my time right now? Since you can only do one thing at a time, you must constantly organize your life so that you are doing one thing, the most important thing at every moment. Each activity will be determined by the current priorities. Each individual with standards of performance and specific deadlines defines specific activities that help achieving his priorities. The achievement of priorities will lead to the accomplishment of the strategy. When your strategy is carried out, you will achieve your objectives. Here is a small exercise for you. Take your main goal we asked you to define in the introductory section of our course. What you need to do now is to engage in all above stages of planning in order to realize it. Think about your objectives, strategies, priorities, and activities. For example, if your goal is to read a certain number of books this year, start with your objectives. How many books you need to read per month or per quarter. Then move on to your strategies. How you are going to achieve it. Maybe by setting a specific time in your day or every 2 days dedicated only to reading. Next, move to your priorities. How you are going to prioritize this activity. When you feel more mentally comfortable to start reading. In the evening, during the day, in the afternoon, during the night maybe. Think about them. Next, move to your activities. Your activity will be reading. And ask yourself, how many pages, roughly of course, you would want to read every day or every 2 days when you think you need to read during that period of time dedicated only to your goal. Think about it, and if you didn't do it already, please share your insights with us. We are here to help you. In the next lesson, we are going to talk about why you need to set long-term goals and why you need to constantly think about your future. Thank you very much and see you there. Once you finish this exercise, my suggestion is to set long-term goals and constantly be thinking about your future. You need to set clear and realistic goals. According to psychologists, the greatest demotivator in the world of work is not knowing what is expected or not being clear about your long-term goals. The process of setting goals helps you choose where you want to go in life. By knowing precisely what you want to achieve on a long time frame, you know where you have to concentrate your efforts. You will also quickly spot the distractions and eliminate them. Know what your long-term goals are clearly before you start anything. If you aren't sure what the end result is, the confusion will make it impossible to focus. Now that you have chosen your major goal, I have an additional tip for you. Review and keep track of your progress. Writing in a journal is a great way to keep track of both personal and professional progress. Checking in with yourself and the progress you made towards a certain goal is the key to staying motivated. It may even encourage you to work harder. It's also a good idea to make an appointment with yourself each week to review your progress. This could be done on Monday while commuting, if you are in a bus or a subway. This could be when you get home on a Friday afternoon or when the house is quiet on a Sunday morning. Make it regular and stick to the schedule. It also helps if you can talk to family and friends about your goals and actions and ask them to follow up with you to see if you have made any progress. If you have not made as much progress as you plan to, don't beat yourself up. Just reschedule the things you missed for the next week. Working step by step is the key. It may take time and perseverance. You may need to sacrifice some social TV or internet time, but you will feel great when you see the progress you are making. Remember, if something does not change, nothing will change. Organizing and processing goals. Your ability to think, plan, decide, organize, and take action determines the entire course of your life. The better you become in each area, the better will be each part of your life and the faster you will achieve your goals. By setting sharp, clear, defined goals, you can measure and take pride in the achievement of these goals. And you will see forward progress in what might previously have seemed a long, pointless grind. You will also raise your self-confidence, and you will recognize your ability and competence in achieving the goals that you have set. But once you have figured out what you really want to do, you still need a strategy for accomplishing it. Your goals are not going to get you anywhere if you don't actually do something about them. And not just anything, but the right things. I have 6 strategies on organizing your goals. First, make sure that your goal is something you want rather than something you want to avoid. For instance, instead of saying I don't want to be stuck in this job for another 4 years, say I want to improve my skills over the next 4 years so that I qualify for a better job. Second, after setting your priorities, focus on 5 to 7 items. Productivity studies show that you really cannot focus on more than 5 to 7 items at any one time. If you concentrate at more than 5 to 7 goals at any time, you will lose focus and you will accomplish very little. Third, setting smaller goals. Create progressively smaller goals that you should reach to achieve your big goals. Each of these should be based on the previous plan. Then create a daily to-do list of the things that you should do today to work towards your goals. At an early stage, your smaller goals might be to read books and gather information on the achievement of your higher level goals. This will help you to improve the quality and realism of your goal setting. Fourth tip: make them SMART. Your goals must be specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and reachable within your time frame. First, what is a specific goal? Your goals must identify exactly what you want to accomplish in as much specificity as you can master. One might say, I want to be successful. Well, who doesn't? But can you define what success means to you? Success to one person may mean becoming the CEO of a company, while to another person it can mean getting home from work by 6 o'clock every evening. A bad goal, write an article. A good goal, write an article for your favorite tourism site or blog. Measurable. You can't manage what you cannot measure. If possible, try to quantify the result. You want to know absolutely positively whether or not you hit the goal. A bad goal, earn more this month than the last one. A good goal, earn $500 more this month than the previous one. Next, actionable. Every goal should start with an action verb. Quit, run, finish, eliminate, rather than a to-be verb, such as am, be, have. A bad goal, to be more active in blogging. A good goal, write 5 blog posts per week. Next, realistic. A good goal should stretch you, but you have to add a dose of common sense. Make sure your abilities and skills are compatible with your long-term goals. A bad goal, qualify for the PGA Tour. A good goal, lower my golf handicap by 4 strokes. Next, reachable within your time frame. Each goal needs a deadline associated with it. A goal without a date is just a dream. Always define when you do plan to deliver on that goal. It could be by year end or it could be more near term. Make sure that every goal ends with a by when date. Don't set yourself up to failure. If you have one big goal, then you have to break it down into smaller parts or short-term goals. Remember, you will do better if you take baby steps than one big giant leap. A bad goal, lose 1 kilo. A good goal, lose 1 kilo by December 31st. The fifth advice in organizing your goals. Stick to your plan. It's also a good idea to make an appointment with yourself each week to review your progress. This could be on the train or bus to work, or school on Monday, when you get home on a Friday afternoon, or when the house is quiet on a Sunday morning. It's up to you, but make it regular and stick to the schedule. If you have not made as much progress as you planned to, don't beat yourself up. Just reschedule the things you missed for the next week. Working step by step is the key. As an exercise, write down your goals and actions in a notebook, on your phone or computer, and set reminders on your calendar to follow up on each of the actions. Sixth, adjust your goals periodically. You may find yourself set in your ways concerning broad life goals, but take the time to reevaluate your smaller goals. Are you accomplishing them to your time frame? Are they still necessary to keep you on track towards your larger life goals? You need to create a plan that you can stick to, but then adjust along the way towards achieving your goals. Don't change the goal, but you can and should change the plan as often as needed to get closer to your goals. In the end, goal setting is a powerful technique for developing a solid foundation for future planning and organization. By knowing what you want to achieve in life, you know where you want to concentrate and what to improve. If you can set well-defined goals and organize them, you can measure and take pride in the achievement of those goals. Thank you very much for being with us. Now let's move to the next lesson. How to develop short-term goals and long-term goals. You know, your ability to set long-term goals and constantly be thinking about your future has a high impact on your success. All top executives are long-term thinkers. They project forward 5 years and they think about where they want to be and what they will have to be doing at that time in order to achieve their long-term goals. They are constantly asking themselves how to set goals and foster a strategic planning process to further their business success. The key to a successful long-term goals is for you to identify the core competencies you will require and then begin immediately to develop or to acquire those core competencies. This ability to think long-term has never been more important or more valuable than it is today. It is a real key to profitability. When you have determined where you want your life to be in 1 year or 5 years or even 20 years, it will have an impact on what you do today. Once you define your goals, as we've helped you in the previous lessons, write them down. A written goal represents a real commitment. Commitment is what separates our dreams from our goals. Keep a copy of your goal plan in sight and refer to it as often as possible. The secret behind the effort is the development of habits and strategies which support the achievement of clear goals. Successful people form habits to do things that less successful people don't like to do. Many long-term goals will have short-term goals that lead to them. Not only does this make practical sense, for example, getting accepted to university is a short-term goal than becoming a partner in a law firm, for example, or a management consultant, but it also helps you from becoming overwhelmed. Differentiating between the two will help you to not become discouraged, and you will also assist in always keeping the long-term perspective in mind when the day-to-day life threatens you to make you lose sight of it. Long-term goals are excellent motivators. They help you see beyond today's work and remind you that there is a greater purpose for the time you are spending today. Setting your long-term goal with the assumption that you are moving in the right direction is not enough. So, how do you make sure that you are headed in the right direction and that your energy is channeled toward achieving your long-term goal? Short-term goals put you on the right track, but they don't appear automatically. Your short-term goals will relate to your long-term goal. A short-term goal is any goal that you set for yourself that can be accomplished within 12 months and may even be accomplished the day you set the goal. Usually, these short-term goals are smaller parts of bigger, longer-term goals that you break down into more manageable parts. As a long-term goal, let's say you want to read 50 books this year during 12 months. In this case, your short-term goals might be to read a specific number of books each month, to dedicate a specific number of hours each day, 5 days per week, to do 15 minutes per day of speed reading exercises, and so on. All these short-term goals have the purpose to move you to the long-term goal. These short-term goals will help you measure your progress towards your long-term goal. They will shape you how you plan your time and clarify the value of your time. Make your goals specific and give them a date to be completed. Large goals can be overwhelming. This causes people to lose confidence and motivation. They feel less overwhelmed when they break up, but on the other hand, they feel less overwhelmed when they break up a large goal into a series of smaller steps, each with specific actionable tasks. Instead of focusing on the larger goal, you focus on the smaller tasks which you need to complete. It will be less daunting, and with each small task completed, you will receive a confidence boost as you realize that you are one step closer to your goal. This makes reaching your ultimate goal much easier. In the end, here are some examples of long-term and short-term goals. For example, as long-term goals, your strategy might be to improve the profitability of your company. As long-term goals, you might add to increase the web traffic to your business site by 35% within 6 months, to reach the 1000 follower mark on Twitter, to add 500 new names to the email subscriber list for your company's newsletter. Here are some examples of short-term goals supporting the above long-term goals. To improve search rankings for 5 keyword terms within 2 months, to research target audience and applicable industry keywords, to assign someone to manage social media feeds and establish a schedule for updates, to improve the newsletter content and establish a system to track performance of the existing campaign. My exercise for you. From the previous lesson, choose one long-term goal and break it down into a list of tasks and steps, and designate an appropriate time frame for each so that you never get discouraged. And please share it with us in our discussion section. The goal might be related to learning, concentration, business, fitness, any important goal that you want. Thank you very much.